Holy, oh my goodness, did you see that? Because there was absolutely nothing there. What's up, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to the story mode. You're a little close. Hold on. Let me back y'all up. My bad, gang. Holy. So, it's been a minute since we've done this. Yeah, sorry about that. I can't lie to you. Soul Ramble mode has been so much easier on editing and my mental. Especially trying to, get everything ready for the new year and things like that. But, you know what? No, there's no excuses. This is here to stay, and there's no more leaving like it did. That sucker was gone for almost a month. We'll do better than that. Which is why it's imperative that we finally talk about the Switch 2 a little bit. It's already been like 2 weeks since the Switch 2 was announced, and it had everybody in an absolute tizzy for like a couple of days, because if we're being completely honest, the leaks got to us way before Nintendo did, and that's a little unfortunate. I was still very much excited, but they were so secretive for so long, it was kind of inevitable that people would get antsy and get their hands on as much information as they could, and because we had nothing else to latch onto, some of that stuff we couldn't help but see, okay? So, unfortunately, there's really no getting around the fact that we were kind of spoiled on a lot of the Switch 2 features and its looks. It happens. Now here's the thing, while the hardware in of itself is very important, it is nowhere near as critical as the games that follow. In the announcement for the Switch 2, we did get a little unofficial glimpse of Mario Kart 9, although we're kind of just assuming that it's Mario Kart 9, but that's only because the characters look way too different for it to be Mario Kart 8, but it's still on what looks to be a very similar engine to what we were using for Mario Kart 8 all these years. But, I don't know, maybe we're just delusional and maybe it actually does look a lot better. We just don't have it in front of us, which is why we can't tell. But the point is, it's most likely a new Mario Kart. New Switch, new game. That makes a lot of sense. I think that's a pretty fair assumption to make. However, we are probably gearing up for our first year with the Nintendo Switch 2. And while Mario Kart is a big seller, that's a big boy seller for a brand new console, it's not gonna do the job alone. I mean, maybe it can, but I feel like they probably shouldn't do something like that. Why waste an entire year utilizing only one game? They're obviously not going to do that. Nintendo has an abundance of IPs that I'm sure that they've been putting into work and putting into gears so that we can finally have them prepped for our first year on Nintendo Switch 2. Maybe not the first year. I don't know, we'll see. However, I do have my predictions and my guesses as to what we might be getting for our first year lineup in regards to the Switch 2. My first assumption is that we are gearing up to finally have DS games on NSO. And I know that's not like a Nintendo game per se, but it's a very important aspect of Nintendo now because NSO is how we get all of our legacy content now, or at least all of our legal legacy content. In the Switch 2 trailer, we got a glimpse of what looked to be a mouse feature, and we could move the mouse around, and that's what it looked like anyway in the trailer. They kind of slid it across the ground like it was being dragged, and I kind of figure the way they have that set up, it's an installment, it's an extra piece that you could put on the Joy-Con. I feel like they wouldn't include that for no reason. That's some kind of a sensor, right? I think that's a fair assumption. Why would they add a sensor though? Why would they add a mouse feature if not to allow us to click on stuff? Why would we need to click on stuff for the Switch 2? Well, obviously because that's a console as opposed to a PC, and to have something like touchscreen on a console, especially something that's going to be docked 90% of the time, it only makes sense to have a mouse feature so that we could click on the second screen. And if your gears are turning a lot like mine are, you could probably see that dual screen situation going on where we have the top screen and then we have the bottom screen on the same screen, but the bottom screen you can click stuff on. You have your mouse feature and it works like a touch screen when you don't have the Switch 2 in your hands. In my personal opinion, I don't think that that's crazy, and I feel like that would be one of their smartest moves ever, because getting their DS library on the Switch 2 would be big money, big brain moves. That would be so incredible for everybody involved, and I feel like that would just be such a great way to get legal legacy content, because man, there's a lot of DS games behind me right now that we don't have access to, and that is a major problem. So if they're smart, they'll get on it. But I do have a gut feeling that that's one of the first things that's going to be coming to the Switch 2 that's going to give us a lot of time to really get used to that feature, really utilize that to its fullest abilities, and just get used to the console in general. We're going to have it for a little while. I'm sure that we're going to get 1 or 2 games in the early stages of the year, and then we're probably going to have to rely on NSO a little bit and backwards compatibility to get the most out of our Switch 2 before they really start dropping all of their heavy hitters. And speaking of heavy hitters, obviously the first thing me and you and probably everybody and their mother on Earth is guessing is going to come first is the new 3D Mario. It has been almost 8 full years. That's a long time, bro. It has been almost 8 full years since Mario Odyssey. That's kind of a ridiculous time frame, isn't it? Why has it taken so long to get the next 3D Mario? I'll tell you why. Because they've been gearing it up for the Switch 2. There's no way in hell they aren't going to add a ton of new crazy features, and they're not going to make it Switch 2 exclusive to get people to buy into the Switch 2. Because Mario is one of their big boys. He is their baby. He is their face. Okay, what better way to kick off the Switch 2 than with the brand new 3D Mario, whether it be Odyssey 2 or whether it be something else. I'm sure, knowing them, they got creative as hell and they let the team go balls to the wall, but of course, it's probably going to take a long time given the fact that Nintendo likes to give their developers a lot more freedom and a lot more time to develop their games. They definitely took their time with this next 3D Mario because they definitely had to play it careful. So I have absolutely no doubt in my mind that 3D Mario is going to be one of the first big heavy hitters for 2025. Absolutely no doubt. At the very least, I could for sure see that during the holiday season. 100%. The next of the heavy hitters that I'm going to take a guess on here is a Zelda game. Now, I know that's not like particularly specific, but there's a reason for that. There is one of 3 possibilities of a Zelda game, right? And I'm going to tell you now, it's likely not going to be a brand new Zelda game. It's only been almost 3 years since Tears of the Kingdom. That's not a really long time for a game like that, especially considering the fact that Tears of the Kingdom in of itself, even utilizing the same engine, just a little upscaled from Breath of the Wild, took 5+ years. So I'm telling you now, it's not going to be a new Zelda game. We just practically got Breath of the Wild, and just a couple of months ago, we just got Echoes of Wisdom. It's not going to be a new Zelda game. However, I have to believe, with all my heart, that we are getting one of 3 things. It's either going to be Twilight Princess HD, finally ported to the Switch. It's going to be Wind Waker HD, finally ported to the Switch. Or the third and very, very cursed option, and I don't know how to feel about this yet, but a potential remaster of Breath of the Wild. Now, here's my thing. I am not purchasing a remaster of Breath of the Wild for the Switch 2. I have my copy. I have a perfectly good working Switch. There's no reason for me to buy into that. However, there's a lot of people still out there that never got the chance to play Breath of the Wild for whatever reason, and maybe they do feel like they need to have that game in HD on their new Switch 2. However, it is also very possible that it could be a trilogy collection, right? As ridiculous as it sounds, and I know Nintendo probably wouldn't do this, but considering the rumors, I can't get it out of my head that this is a possibility. But imagine this with me for a second. Breath of the Wild HD, Age of Calamity, and Tears of the Kingdom in one package. The Era of the Wild trilogy. Hold on! Now that I would consider purchasing for my Switch 2. Because at the very least, that way, I have everything in one package, possibly even on one cartridge on my brand new console. It's an upscale of the first game in the trilogy, and then the other 2 games. 2 full, complete games, all available in one package. If they're smart, they will take advantage of that. Because honestly, I feel like that would get a lot of people to buy in. Even me, who just said they probably wouldn't, would at least heavily consider it. Because that's a pretty damn good deal. I don't know. Sometimes though, Nintendo, we give you ways to rob us and you still don't take it. We have so much to talk about in that regard, but we're here to talk about the games, okay? The next major player is probably going to be Metroid Prime 2 and 3. Now, I know that sounds extremely weird because we got Metroid Prime 1 on the Switch 1, right? However, the thing is, the accounts are connected, okay? So we can download Metroid Prime on the Switch 2 whenever we're ready, and then they're probably going to make an exclusive or some form of ports for the Switch 2 for Metroid Prime 2 and 3, because we have to get those games before Metroid Prime 4. Would not make any sense otherwise for us to not get that, and it's already been an absurd amount of time since Metroid Prime 1. Genuinely shocked we haven't seen the other two yet, but I'm betting that's because they're saving that for the lineup for the Switch 2. Probably, honestly, I would not be surprised if we saw those during the presentation, back to back for the Switch 2 first presentation. Would not be surprised in the slightest. I just think it would be absolutely insane not to give people the chance to play these other games, especially since they finally got into the Metroid series, whether it be through Metroid Dread or Metroid Prime 1 Remastered. Right? So I'm sure everybody and their mothers are looking forward to Metroid Prime 4 because they finally got an idea of what Metroid games could be like, but we have to get all of the lore first. Maybe we don't, I don't know, but I can't imagine anybody would be too... Well, okay, I'm not going to say they wouldn't be excited. I'm definitely excited. I would still probably pick up Metroid Prime 4 regardless because I want to play that game, but I've never played Metroid Prime 2 and 3. I want to play 2 and 3 before I play 4. I don't think that's a crazy thing to request, which is why I fully believe they are saving those releases to give us some space in between. So while we wait for Metroid Prime 4, we have something to chew on in regards to Metroid while we wait for that. So I'm sure that they have that lined up. The next major thing on the list here is Fire Emblem. It's already been 2 full years. Literally, the anniversary for Fire Emblem Engage was like last week. Not a single person talked about Fire Emblem Engage's anniversary. Can you believe that? That just goes to show the impact that game had on anyone. That's really sad. Regardless though, it has now been 2 full years. I have no doubt in my mind they probably have another Fire Emblem game geared up for the end of the year. Whether it be a brand new Fire Emblem or a remake of either Path of Radiance or Genealogy of the Holy War. It's one of the two, or one of the 3, I guess, if we're considering the possibility of a brand new Fire Emblem, which I would not be shocked about, but regardless, we are getting Fire Emblem something for the end of the year. That's going to be one of the big major RPGs that we get to look forward to, something that might take advantage of the mouse feature just because, I don't know, but I have no doubt in my mind that they have multiple teams working on these Fire Emblem games, and I'm sure that the B team that finished up Engage probably finished that and then went to help out A team with finishing up the next major Fire Emblem game that was probably set to go with the Switch 2 this upcoming year. So yeah, Fire Emblem, the next one, it's en route. It is basically here. I would not be shocked to see that sometime around the holidays. And then lastly, call me crazy, but I feel in my bones that they are going to try for another new IP, right? There's no way in hell that they're not going to try for another brand new IP, maybe something that uses one of the new major features on the Switch 2, and it's going to be something. I don't know what it is, but hell, they came up with ARMS when they gave us the Switch for the first time, so I won't put it past them to have gotten somebody to create a new IP possibly. However, it's also very possible that this new IP could be coming from Sakurai, of all things, right? Because here's the thing, when Sakurai finished up his YouTube channel a couple months ago, or was it like a year ago now? I don't know. But when he finished up his YouTube channel, he did tell us that during all that time, not only were those videos already like years old, but in that time, you know, in that time frame, he was working with the team to try and get his new project greenlit, and it's already been a good amount of time since then. So I would not be shocked if we saw some form of announcement or something for Sakurai's new IP if it's from him. Maybe it's just his new project. It could be something we already know of, but it's also very possible that it could be just a completely brand new IP, whether it be from him or from somebody else. I don't know. We'll have to play that one by ear. So that just about wraps it up for my list of predictions when it comes to the first year lineup for the Switch 2. Now, again, I could be completely wrong on everything here, but I'm sure that I maybe got 1 or 2 hits. We're gonna find out in April, but I wanted to just make this video now just, you know, to put a little distance in between so we can let this idea fester. Like, what is coming? What might we be getting on the first year of the Switch 2? It's so exciting to consider and so fun to think about, right? And of course, I would also like to put some space in between to talk about each of these individual aspects. What I would like to see from the next new Mario, if we could possibly get, you know, the Zelda remaster for Breath of the Wild or something along those lines. There's just so many possibilities of things we could be talking about. Oh my gosh. You know what? Let me walk it back really quick before we end this. Kirby is probably also on his way, right? It's been about 2 years now since Forgotten Land, hasn't it? So I wouldn't be shocked if around the same time we hear something in whispers about a new Kirby game in development, or maybe it's gonna be slated for the end of this year. I wouldn't be shocked. It's already been 2 years. Who knows? Can't put it past them. So we'll play that one by ear. But, okay, now that I've put that out there, that does it for my list here. I'm not going to repeat myself, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over to you guys, and I want you guys to tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below. Do you think my list is valid? Can you absolutely see some of these things coming to fruition when we finally get our April Direct for the Switch 2, and you can see all of these getting some crazy reveals when we finally see them? Or I'm off my rocker. I need to be sent to a retirement home, and I need to be sat down and put on meds, because I am absolutely insane for considering any of these as a genuine possibility. Tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I'm always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, it does appear to be skedaddle o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and do just that. I would like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm gonzo. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.